maybe it's selective perception, I'm forgetting, but they did not move the goalposts on McNabb the way they have on Carson Wentz. It is not that I don't respect him or don't think highly of him. I feel that you guys are disrespecting him by setting the bar so low. Why is the bar so low for him?
No. What we're not doing is equivocating and hedging our bets, or maybe that's the wrong phrase, basically reminding everybody of what we said 2 years ago. We're talking about 2019. Everybody knows that you had Carson Wentz as an MVP candidate, as we all did. I don't know why you feel the need to consistently remind folks just because they're questioning you. So what? So what? Bottom line is Carson Wentz gave us reasons to question him earlier, but the bevy of injuries combined with the drop passes and everything else, and him finding a way to maneuver his way through it, to me, elevates his stock. Now, if you want to sit up there and say, excuse me, Stephen A., where we're making a mistake is we're giving him too much credit when we should be giving credit to Doug Peterson, a legitimate argument could be made for that because this man has coached his tail off. And it's not an accident while Pat Shermer's gone. And obviously there's a change in Washington. And now, there's going to be a change in Dallas. He's the only guy in the NFC East that's keeping his job. It's not just because he won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. It's because this man can coach. And he's proven it time and time again. You also got to give credit to the Eagles' defense, particularly their front seven. Malcolm Jenkins was balling yesterday. They were pressuring Daniel Jones all night long. He forced a fumble that ultimately the Giants recovered. He was good in pass coverage. He was good in run coverage. And they were all over Daniel Jones. They had 4 sacks, but they were popping him silly all afternoon long. So I got to give the Eagles defense credit in that regard, save for that 68-yard touchdown run that they allowed to Saquon Barkley. The other 16 carries he had, he only accumulated 24 yards. And so I look at it from that perspective, and I'm saying it was a collective team effort. If you want to make that argument to dilute what Carson Wentz is bringing to you,
Stephen A.,
I get that,
Stephen
but that's about
the
it.
The defense over the last 3 games against the sorry NFC East has the highest percentage of 3-and-outs in the NFL. Well, why do we think that is? It's not just because they're talented, just like Carson Wentz is talented. It's not just because they have a good coach, just as Carson Wentz does.
Question for you.
It's that the division is awful.
Max Kellerman, did you pick the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Eagles?
Probably.
Didn't you? Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And you know why you picked them? Because they were much more talented than the Eagles because of all the injuries the Eagles had.
Yes,
so why do you use the
why the Cowboys are the biggest underachievers, everyone keeps saying.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I asked you.
Underachieve to the extent that the Cowboys
I'm sorry. Before the game against the Cowboys, before the game against the Eagles, did you know that the Cowboys were underachievers?
Yep.
Did you pick them anyway?
I did.
So why are you using that as an excuse now? If you picked them anyway, knowing they were underachievers.
It's not an excuse.
Hate to see it.
It's not an excuse. The Dallas Cowboys were coming off their best win of the season. They've looked awful since then.
I'm simply saying. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Let me end this argument because this has been going on for about 6 weeks. When you pay a quarterback in the NFL a bunch of money, right? The number one narrative that gets tied to that situation is what? What do we always say? All right, now you've been paid your money. You better be able to carry the team when you need him to or when they need you to. Carson Wentz, in the last 6 weeks, has carried this football team. And again, has not played well. He has played great. And everybody always ties it to some other reason. Max, you've sat here and said, well, his offensive line. He played without the whole right side of his offensive line. Everybody has always tied
against
this kid's. I don't care who it was against. It's an NFL football team.
Barely.
He's done it on the road against Green Bay. He's done it on the road against Buffalo. He's done it for the last 6 weeks.
So how do you explain the Falcons, Lions, and Dolphins?
No, let me. Drops, and drops.
It's drops. And then because he gets fat against the NFC East, even though it's the defense who ices it with a turnover, therefore now he's Joe Montana. So their excuses when he loses, and when he beats bad teams, he's Joe Montana.
Your commitment to this is silly. No, because I'm about to absolutely end it.
Here we go.
In that case,
you said you're not going to take 3 games of work, right? Mm-hmm. How about 3 seasons? Because he's the only quarterback in the history of the NFL to have 3 straight years of 20-plus touchdowns and less than 7 picks. So don't take the 3 games, Max, for what it is, whatever. 3 seasons. He's the only quarterback.
That's a kind of an arbitrary
He's the only. He's the only quarterback to ever throw for 4,000 yards and not have a 500-yard receiver.
I just explained
Stop
why.
running from reality.
They're an awful first-quarter team, so they're playing from behind with a pass-happy play caller in Peterson.
And yet they still.
And by the way, Wentz is talented.
And yet
I'm not
they
saying he's
still
not
somehow
talented.
make the playoffs. An awful first-half team, yet still make the playoffs.
Let me tell you something.
The argument's done.
And I will.
It's
and
done.
by the way, this goes for Chris Long too, who tweeted at me, and I have profound respect for not only you. I think you break down tape better than anyone since Gruden on TV. I love watching you break down tape. And Chris Long is like the best, you know,
no doubt.
Multiple-time champion. When he left the league, by the way, he was statistically one of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
Right.
Walter Payton Award. The first white guy to put his arm around, a black teammate during the anthem protest. Everything about Chris Long is awesome. But I'd have a question for him because he played on the same team as Carson Wentz and Nick Foles. Who do you have a shrine to in his locker? So
in the moment,
right.
Max.
So the point is Carson Wentz, if you want me to give him credit for something, I will give him credit for answering what I felt was a key question about him this year. Can he galvanize a team? He has done that recently.
So what hasn't he done?
As I said, I've seen him make elite throws followed up by bad throws.
Answer my question.
And I'm telling you now,
what has he not
if
done?
he were a more consistent passer in recent games, even against the NFCs, he wouldn't be in one-score games.
He's literally completed over 70% of his passes in December.
Against the dregs of the NFL.
He's completed over 70% of his passes in the month. That is the epitome
against
of consistency.
Against the worst division maybe in the history of the NFL, every single coach is being fired.
Here's the truth.
Being fired.
Here's the truth. Everything that you and many other people said he wasn't or couldn't do, he's smashed, and that hurts you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.